Barcelona continues to be one of the most confusing clubs in Europe. Winners of the 2022-23 La Liga season, yet also the subject of bribery and corruption allegations. They score late dramatic winners in El Clasico, and after that, they're advocating for the president of La Liga to be axed for providing false evidence to the courts in their corruption case. They're constantly linked with a dramatic re-signing of Lionel Messi. Then they go ahead and get into a war of words with Real Madrid over whether a Spanish dictator favored them over the other. It's more or less what I would call a stable establishment. What is going on at Barcelona, guys? After the past couple of years of lever pulling and star player departures, it seemed as though the only direction for them was up, which was and is true. They are up, but are they really? And more importantly, where to next? Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Barcelona started this season off in rocky fashion. Off the pitch, that is. The seemingly never-ending cycle of hearing about how bankrupt this club was and then seeing all these levers being pulled was a very confusing thing to deal with. Long story short, at the start of the year, Barca were unable to register players, owed somewhat to being almost £1.5 billion in debt and having player wages accounting for 103% of total income. They needed to adjust their books to comply with La Liga regulations, basically the league's own version of FFP. In essence, Barcelona always had access to the cash to buy these players. They just needed to comply to be able to spend it. Without going into too much detail, as I've done so in this video, each La Liga club has a certain amount that they can spend on player salaries based on their incoming and outgoing funds. Barcelona was said to have a salary limit of negative 144 million euros at the start of the summer of 22, which is a lot less than I think they were hoping for. By selling off assets, offloading players, and employing what I can only imagine are top-notch accountants, they were able to sign and register their army of new players. And those players got to work, showing that the money was well spent. Although the season could have started a little bit better for them if we're all being honest. Barcelona kicked things off with a draw, meaning that they would be playing catch-up from the jump. This didn't prove to be a problem though. Right now, going into the final 2 games of the season, Barcelona have only managed to concede 18 goals in the league. That's the lowest in all of the top 5 European leagues. The only team close to them is Napoli, who are sitting on 26 conceded. Now, that total is already very impressive, but believe it or not, it's been heavily skewed recently because Barcelona have conceded 7 in their past 3 games. At the back, they've been nasty, thanks of course to a world-class defense, but also thanks to a very effective forward press. Those front men definitely understood the assignment and make sure that they win the ball back immediately after it's lost. But before we even talk about the Barcelona players themselves, we have to give Xavi some major flowers. It's been 4 years since Barcelona last won the league. And yeah, I'll admit that some Barcelona fans have been acting a little bit crazy, acting like they haven't won the league in like 10 years, but that number is still somewhat significant. Just remember that this is Barcelona's first league title win without Lionel Messi in the team in this millennium. Also, they haven't had to wait this long for a league title since 2005, when the wait was 6 years after not winning since '99. Despite all the chaos, they've managed to pull through. You really have to rate it. Xavi has proven that he's not just a master baller, but also a master instructor. What Xavi has done in turning the fortunes of this team around is nothing short of incredible. When he was brought in, I don't think a hell of a lot of us had tons of faith that he was going to be the one to turn things around. However, that was through no fault of his own. Barcelona have this habit of bringing in ex-players as managers and kind of hoping for the best. It's worked out before, but it doesn't always work out. Also, Barca were in such a bad state at the time that it was hard to imagine anyone was going to be able to turn things around for them. And when it comes to Xavi, he was, and quite frankly is, a very young manager, lacking in European managing experience. He may have done well in Qatar, but let's be honest, even if he'd won the AFC Champions League while he was there, none of you would have rated him. When Xavi arrived, he's been quoted as being surprised that many of the rules that he and his teammates abided by while he was a player had been scrapped from existence. Basic things like fines for arriving to training late and eating together before sessions. Discipline. He wasn't one to play favorites, as seen from his treatment of his old buddy Gerard Piqué. The only thing he could really offer him was a place on the bench. To be fair, when Piqué realized he wasn't the player he used to be, he retired immediately. Say what you want about him, whether he left it too late or not, but that's what you call self-awareness. On to the other players, and where else to start but with Robert Lewandowski. This one doesn't really need an introduction. Since 2010, he's won the league 12 times out of 14 attempts. Why would this be any different? He's also La Liga's leading scorer with 23 so far. No one is surprised. Ter Stegen's performances this year have been more miraculous than the reappearance of his hairline. He's managed 25 clean sheets in the league this season compared to 11 in each of his previous 2 seasons. Frenkie de Jong has been consistent as ever and must be thanking the Pope daily that he wasn't eventually forced to go to Man United. Ousmane Dembele has been his usual self, amazing when fit, but the key words here are when fit. Rafinha has silenced a lot of his critics since he transferred from Leeds. He's had a lot of great performances, but his finishing could probably do with some work. With a conversion rate of just 8% and an average of 4 shots per game, having played 34 games this year, he doesn't always make the most of the opportunities he finds himself in. To be honest, my assessment of Rafinha mostly comes from me being frustrated after seeing him miss chance after chance, but he gets into great positions and I'm probably just being a little bit unfair. The mood around this group of players is far more positive than it has been in what seems like an extremely long time. Even fringe players like Franck Kessie, who's been struggling for minutes, have had their moments. I doubt he'll quickly forget the time he scored a 92nd minute winner against Real Madrid at home. It's a very good moment, but there is still a lot of work to be done. Lewandowski, great as he has been, is 35 in a couple of months, and there are no other true scorers in the squad at the moment. And on that note, we're seeing the changing of the guard too. Jordi Alba is out, the emergence of Alejandro Balde has seen to that, 19, and a strong candidate for the most improved player in the squad. Along with Piqué, Sergio Busquets is also calling it quits, and it's probably Busquets that's going to cause Barcelona the biggest of headaches in the months to come. How do you replace a guy like that? The short answer is that you can't. By playing him alongside de Jong, we've seen the Dutchman at his best. License to leave your posts from deep and work your magic doesn't come cheap. Jules Kounde has done well on the right, but he is not a natural right back. He's painfully aware of that. But contrary to popular belief, it seems he's not quite fed up just yet. To be fair, I don't know how many of us expected Andreas Christensen to be as good as he has been since his arrival. At Barcelona, the pressure to perform in Europe is ever present, and while their performances have been heavily scrutinized since about 2015, something feels a little bit different this time going into next season. Back at the top of the La Liga mountain, there are expectations that come with wearing the crown, and whether they have enough depth and conviction to meet those expectations is still an unknown. Moving on to off-the-pitch matters, and because this is Barcelona, you already know this is where the real stories are at. There was the small matter of the club being accused of paying off Jose Negreira, vice president of the Spanish referees body from 1994 to 2018, in an effort to gain preferential treatment. It's said that this man received 7.3 million euros from Barcelona between 2001 and 2018. Barcelona, Laporta, and Negreira's explanation for this? He provided the club with technical reports and advised players on how games are officiated. Bro, 7 mil for reports and advice? Hire me! I watch La Liga. I'm literally VAR. I can pause, rewind, everything. Those were jokes, but of course the gravity of the situation can't be overstated. During the time frame that these payments are alleged to have happened, Barcelona won 10 La Liga titles, 6 Copa del Reys, and 4 Champions Leagues. If it's ever definitively proven that there was foul play, and again I say, proven, this is huge. UEFA President Alexander Keferin agrees. Because the statute of limitations has passed since the act took place, the Spanish Confederation can't do much. Investigations by UEFA appear to still be ongoing. And after that, things somehow got even worse when Real Madrid joined the public prosecutor's complaint against Barcelona. Laporta, seeing this development, was somewhat perplexed. And the reason for this was because, quote, Madrid was historically favored in refereeing decisions. It was the team of the regime, close to political, economic, and sporting powers for 70 years. Now, that sounds wild, right? Because it is. From 1939 to 1975, Spain was ruled by a dictatorship under one General Francisco Franco. the regime. For context, comments like this, while crazy, are commonplace. You know, Barcelona fans claiming this in the direction of Real Madrid and Real Madrid fans claiming it in the opposite direction. I've even seen these claims online for several years now. You know, that one team was favored over the other by higher powers throughout the history of football in Spain. As controversial La Liga president Javier Tebas said, with maximum respect to everyone, I remember when I was 19 or 20 and I had these types of arguments with my friends until 5 a.m. It is a debate to distract attention from what else is happening. Now, while this guy may say some crazy things, in this particular situation, he may not be wrong. All the same, a club president and one of the most powerful men in all of football saying that versus a group of 19-year-olds at 5 a.m. are two completely different things. In the grand scheme of things, nobody would like to be associated with a dictatorship that was built off the back of hundreds of thousands of deaths and decades of suffering. The depth of discomfort here goes deeper than I'll ever know or claim to ever know. Real Madrid very quickly responded with a 4-minute video that both denied Laporta's claims and claimed that Barcelona were the favored outfit. The video concluded with the question, which club is the team of the regime? While fans have been at each other, not much has come out of this exchange from either club in an official capacity since. Back to the finances, and it's certainly worth noting that Barcelona are far from being out of the woods. The La Liga win most definitely led to widespread relief amongst those associated with the Catalan club, but Barca are still heavily in debt. More so, we should expect more levers to be pulled in the weeks and months to come. It's required if they want to remain competitive. You can all be relaxed. Barca is an invincible feeling that cannot be bought. They are always trying to attack us, but don't believe the apocalyptic messages. A statement from Laporta to a gathering of supporters following the title win and in response to the financial situation. Encouraging words delivered at a very opportune time. You can tell by this man's body language and the way he speaks that this man is a lawyer, but one win won't make the problems of the past go away. I think all true Barcelona fans and members are painfully aware of this. Having said all of this, I don't want to be fear-mongering and make things sound like it's all negative. Football is fickle. Barcelona could go on to win everything in the years to come and re-establish themselves as the world's best. We've definitely seen it happen before. It would be poetic if it happened again. They're certainly on the right track. The Super League could show its head again, and that could very well save the club if that goes through. They could re-sign Messi and once again have the leverage to demand all that sweet endorsement money. At this very moment, it's very difficult to avoid falling into the feeling that Barcelona's problems of the past are dead and buried, that they won't fall into times as tough as the tail end of the 21-22 season. Honestly, maybe those days are long in the past. I'll admit that I do tend to err on the side of optimism when it comes to Barca, and this is probably because my rose-tinted glasses still see them as this club. But be warned, I find myself viewing Man United as this club every now and then too. My judgment might not be exemplary. And there we have it. Let me know how you guys feel about Barcelona. Feel free to follow all the socials in the description. That's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.